Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 4 in the Premier League on Saturday. This was a destruction of Bournemouth by a very clinical Arsenal side, Janusz. 2 penalties along the way, plus a late Ben White goal to add to the opener from Bukayo Saka, and a job very well done from Mikel Arteta's men.
On this part, yes, for sure. I mean, look, they needed that sort of performance, right? It's never easy. I think that was Mikel Arteta's first game at Arsenal, right? Against Brentford. I think it was 3-0 against Bournemouth. My apologies, when he started coaching Arsenal. So after the midweek against Brentford, I worried a little bit about Arsenal for a number of reasons. First of all, it was a tough test. They looked spent after that game. Brentford gave him everything, and they had to work extremely hard for that win. And remember, some players were rested, some were injured. We had all kinds of question marks about Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Trossard. So we didn't know going into this game these players had to play or did play, a lot of them anyway. So I hope you can understand why people were worried. So no drama whatsoever from Arsenal. And the big thing I get out of that, because you and I have been talking all game about Manchester City, about Manchester United, what they haven't done, and we've talked about key players. But see, this is the beauty of this team, that the key players continue to contribute week in and week out. And again, just the first goal, Odegaard and Gabriel Jesus were involved, and obviously Bukayo Saka with another goal. That to me is important. And the penalties, Odegaard, tremendous, and not just the way he takes it, but he himself got taken down for that. So that to me is something that I think is not going to go unnoticed, not just by fans, by Mikel Arteta, because that is so important. When you're a little bit short, be it fitness or 1 or 2 or 3 key players, the Martinellis of the world or little knocks, that's special. The one thing that you have to say, Mark, is that, by the looks of it, regardless of what happens to Bukayo Saka, but massive misjudgment by Mikel Arteta. It's 3-0. And why is he still in the game? When coming into it, he comes in with a knock. Of course, I don't know what may or may not happen, but given the fact, forget Lens midweek, but Manchester City's coming to London next weekend. So look, it's easy to talk now, but Mikel Arteta should have reacted. He shouldn't have been on the pitch. A couple other players probably should have been taken out a little bit earlier than they were. Yes, you don't want to take things for granted, but at 3-0. That game was totally under control. So I think, Arteta needs to take on his chest.
Yeah, because you wonder at what cost this victory has come. Because, yes, Bukayo Saka limped out of the North London derby last weekend and hasn't trained much this week, but was eligible for selection and started. So I think your point is very valid. There comes a time when you look at these players like Bukayo Saka, and already without Martinelli, already without Trossard, they can't keep losing key players, whether they don't take them off early enough, because you imagine one injury to Odegaard, because he seems to be the conductor of the orchestra. And is it just about managing minutes better for Arsenal when they find themselves in a position, be able to trust the bench that you've got to see out a 2 or a 3-0 win?
I think this, I'm not going to have a go at Mikel Arteta. He's been absolutely exceptional. Look where they are right now. So this is a one-off, in my opinion, with Arteta. We all know Bukayo Saka. Everybody's probably read how professional he is, how he takes care of himself, not just off the pitch, but always in training. Even if there's days off, he comes in the morning and makes sure that he does his stretching and everything else and physical therapy. So, he goes out of his way, above and beyond what the manager asks of him. He lives this game, doesn't go out, doesn't do anything other than playing football. So he's still young enough where he can recover in some ways. And again, I don't know what this injury is. It may just be a knock that is going to prevent him from playing against Lens, for example, and he will be ready for that. But, every knock has its consequence, right? They add up, one here, one there. No matter how good you are professionally and how young you are and how quickly you recover, I think this is an area. And I'm glad you asked that, because they're looking for that next step. They're close now to Manchester City. They continue to stay with him. And I think the goal obviously is to win the Premier League. And in the past, we would have probably smirked a little bit at that. Last year, we probably said to ourselves, okay, they were close, not close enough. Let's see if they get a little bit closer. Well, they're there. Manchester City losing today will give them that confidence. So I think Arteta will probably learn from that. I don't think he'll admit it, but I think he'll know that today he's gone a little bit too far.
Arsenal score 4, another 3 points, and still unbeaten with their 5th Premier League win of the season. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 4.